We all know Plankton is evil and will do anything it takes to rule the world. But is he actually psychotic enough to feed the Bikini Bottom their own people? Well, fish? I mean, chum is made from parts of fish and their blood, and fishermen use it to attract carnivorous creatures like sharks. But there's no way the chum bucket is a cannibalistic restaurant, right? Okay, so you know that ongoing joke in Spongebob, right? It's all about this endless rivalry between the Krusty Krab and the Chum Bucket. Plankton is always scheming to swipe the Krabby Patty secret formula from Mr. Krabs, but man, he never pulls it off. That leaves his place, the Chum Bucket, in the dust, especially since it's stuck serving chum, which pretty much no one in Bikini Bottom wants to touch. And get this, despite almost no one eating there, the Chum Bucket has managed to stay open for over 12 seasons. Like, that's crazy, and while there's no clear-cut explanation for this, it's kind of obvious why the Chum Bucket's food isn't a hit. I mean, it's chum after all. In the episode Friend or Foe, we actually find out why he even uses chum in the first place. We also find out that Mr. Krabs and Plankton were actually best buddies since they were born on the same day, November 30th, 1942. They were both kind of outcasts. Plankton was seen as the nerd because he was super smart, and Mr. Krabs was really poor. They faced a lot of teasing from other kids, especially from this guy Billy and his gang. There's this part where Mr. Krabs is forced to wear a box because his clothes were taken for cleaning a car, and he finds his first penny. It's kind of what starts his love for money.
The most beautiful thing me eyes have ever seen. What is it? It's money.
He and Plankton save up to buy a burger from this place called Stinky's Burgers, which is super popular even though it's actually pretty gross and located in a dump. But guess what? Stinky, the owner, won't serve them because he thinks they're bad for business. This rejection kind of lights a fire under them, and they decide to make their own burger to earn respect and popularity. When Stinky's gets shut down, they start their own burger stand right there. Now here's where it gets juicy. Mr. Krabs says that him and Plankton make this burger, the first ever patty. Plankton is all about the idea of ruling over everyone with their creation, but Mr. Krabs isn't on the same page. He thinks it should be more about making the customer happy, not power. They end up fighting and tearing the recipe in half. Plankton gets one half, but it only has one ingredient, a pinch of chum. Then Plankton tells his version of the story, which is pretty much the same but with their roles reversed. In his version, Mr. Krabs is the obsessed one with money and power, but either way, they end up tearing the recipe in half, with Plankton only getting a pinch of chum. Now, to be honest, I actually believe Mr. Krabs' story more than Plankton. Karen did eventually come in to tell her side of the story, but I think this was all just a fluke to try and get the Krabby Patty formula at the end. So I don't trust her story either. Now, Mr. Krabs' story, again, it seems more legit. I mean, after all, Plankton is actually trying to rule the world.
No resting! This monument celebrating my glory isn't gonna build itself!
Okay, but back to Plankton trying to serve Bikini Bottom residents their own fish. I started asking myself, who in Bikini Bottom could possibly enjoy this if it's made out of actual fish? In Plankton's regular, Plankton is super upset because he has no customers at the Chum Bucket. But then this fish named Nat shows up and actually orders a chum stick. Plankton is completely shocked, but I mean, he just gives it to him. Nat ends up loving it and promises to come back the next day, which totally makes Plankton's day. Now, before we delve deeper, let's speculate about Nat's species. He's a yellow tan colored fish with light lavender lips and a dark lavender dorsal fin. He also has light green arms and legs, his stomach is like a dark yellow green, and he's very slender and skinny. So after doing a bit of googling, I found he could either be a yellow tang, commonly found in the Pacific Ocean, a banana wrasse, a long-nosed butterfly fish, or a royal grandma. Either way, yellow tangs being herbivores, their digestive systems are not suited to process meaty foods like chum or other fish. Such a diet can lead to severe health problems, kind of like Nat. Banana wrasse and royal grandmas, these species can consume other fish in their natural diet. However, a diet overly reliant on chum, which is typically made of ground fish parts, might not actually provide all the necessary nutrients and could lead to health issues, kinda like Nat. The long-nosed butterfly fish, their diet mostly consists of stuff like this. But keep in mind, for the most part, feeding any of these chum or just other fish could disrupt their digestive system and nutritional balance. Okay, so we just figured out that Nat, the fish who's been chowing down on Plankton's chum, might actually be munching on the wrong kind of food for his species. Plankton, who is probably 100% aware of this, still brags to Mr. Krabs about having a regular customer. Much to Mr. Krabs' disbelief, Nat even shows up and asks for a chum stick right in front of Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs gets worried and tells Spongebob to try and make Nat a Krusty Krab customer. Spongebob does his best, shoving Krabby Patties into Nat's face. But nothing works. Mr. Krabs is devastated, thinking he can't afford to let Plankton have even one customer. But here's the thing, if Nat can't eat Chum because of his species, why would he possibly keep coming back? Well, here comes the twist. Nat ends up showing up with a Chum bucket with a bunch of money, and he suddenly calls off a deal, saying he can't eat any more Chum because it's made him sick, enough to need his stomach pumped twice. Turns out Karen was paying Nat to eat Plankton's Chum just to make Plankton stop complaining about having no customers. Like, bro, of course you can't pay Nat to eat Chum. He's literally eating his neighbors. The list of the amount of creatures in the show who actually eat Chum is quite small. I mean, I could count them all with one hand. The first person, surprisingly, is Mr. Krabs. In Hankering, we see an unexpected twist where Mr. Krabs, known for not liking Chum, is relieved to have a secret liking for it. This surprising plotline unfolds with Mr. Krabs being spotted eating Chum, which confuses Spongebob. Mr. Krabs then explains his unusual taste for Chum through a vague story about his Navy days, suggesting a past experience that led to his fondness for it. The episode humorously highlights the complexities and hidden layers of Mr. Krabs' character by adding this intriguing angle to his persona, and from a biological standpoint, this story is 100% possible. Crabs in the real world are omnivores, but many have a strong preference for meat. They even eat themselves, making them effectively carnivores and cannibalists, to be honest. They feed on a variety of foods including fish, which, like previously mentioned, is a primary component of Chum. Given this dietary behavior, it is 100% feasible for a crab character like Mr. Krabs to not only eat Chum, but even enjoy it. Now, Patrick is another character that enjoys it, and again, just like Mr. Krabs, from a biological standpoint, it makes total sense. So get this, in Chum Bucket Supreme, Plankton gets this wild idea to hire Patrick as his advertising director at the Chum Bucket. You know Patrick, right? Our lovable, not so bright starfish buddy. Anyways, Patrick comes up with this absolutely bonkers slogan, and believe it or not, they're a hit. People start flocking to the Chum Bucket like it's the coolest place in Bikini Bottom. Biologically and for the show, it's actually pretty typical for him to do this. He's always the odd one out, and it makes total sense when you think about it because sea stars in the real world are omnivores and pretty much eat anything. Bikini Bottom is this underwater city with a crazy mix of sea creatures, right? You got lobsters, catfish, bass, but the food scene there, especially at the Krusty Krab in the Chum Bucket, is kinda wild. First up, the Krusty Krab, famous for its Krabby Patty, despite its name, Steven Hillenburg, the creator, said it's actually vegetarian, no meat in there. But here's a question you've probably been asking yourself. The original Krabby Patty recipe includes a pinch of Chum. Why? Well, most of Bikini Bottom residents are detrivores. I can't even say that right, but that word right there on the screen, which basically means they eat dead stuff and waste. So a little bit of Chum actually fits in their natural diet. Now, Squidward comes up with a dish called Chum fricassee at the Chum Bucket. Octopi, like Squidward, are carnivores, so Chum is right up his alley. He makes Chum fricassee, a fancy version of what an octopus would eat in the wild. But because he's Squidward, he gets a little too confident and he messes up the dish, and everyone who eats it gets sick. Now, I think everyone would have got sick regardless, because in the end, the Chum Bucket's culinary choices aren't just about taste or competition, they touch on a deeper, more unsettling aspect of Bikini Bottom society. The fact that Plankton's primary dish is made from fish. Feeding fish to other fish is a reflection of his disregard for the norms and values of Bikini Bottom.